Hello and welcome back to New Rockstars. I'm Jessica Clemens. Shang-Chi and the Legends of the Ten Rings and Spider-Man 4 director Destin Daniel Cretton teamed up with longtime writer-producer Andrew Guest, known for Brooklyn Nine-Nine, Community, and Hawkeye to bring Wonder Man to Marvel Television. Now that all the episodes have dropped, this is our full series breakdown in one big video. The finale leaves us with some major questions: how powerful Simon really is, whether he could be a mutant, why the DODC is ramping up surveillance of superpowered individuals, and what Trevor's return of the Mandarin might set off. But instead of giving us clean answers, the show does something unusual for the MCU. It chooses characters over spectacle. So let's break down the entire series and the ending to figure out what it truly means, where Simon and Trevor could have ended up, and why the series might be a quiet setup to a much bigger thing in the MCU down the line. But first, before we get let's get into this breakdown because it's long. Episode 1 is titled Matinee, which marks the matinee performance we'll see in this episode that kicks off Wonder Man's journey and sets the series arc in motion. Wonder Man is one of 2 Marvel spotlights. Echo is the second one. Both dropped all their episodes in January, Echo in 2024 and Wonder Man in 2026. Maybe this is a trend, maybe it's not. Marvel Spotlight projects focus on character origins, typically telling more grounded, character-driven stories that exist largely separate from the wider ripple effects of the MCU, so you don't really need to do much homework for this show, and it's not required viewing, but it's still good to watch. The Wonder Man series really thrives on this style. They clearly wanted to create something isolated, an origin story that doesn't ripple the MCU, but doesn't focus solely on it either. There's no huge setups for the future or cameos, just a mini-series opening a door and closing a door on a specific chapter in a character's life. It doesn't need 3 movies to do it. They just wanted to deliver a show that they could experiment with. We open on the scene from the Wonder Man teaser, the classic Wonder Man played by Dane Larson. This is actually shot at the iconic Vasquez Rocks. This place is known for its popular TV and movie appearances and its alien-like formations. Destin Daniel Cretton shared a bit of behind-the-scenes filming on Instagram during this day of shooting for his 8-year-old son's career day, and could you imagine? Wonder Man through Marvel Comics has gone through so many wardrobe upgrades, and this Wonder Man we're seeing is wearing the iconic West Coast Avengers look, which debuted in 1985, issue number 12 by Steve Englehart and Al Milgrom. It's a green bodysuit with the red W and M symbols for Wonder Man on the chest, separating at the stomach, forming a gold diamond in the center, complete with a yellow jetpack. During this time in the comics, this is when he was going for that Hollywood iconic look, so Simon dyed his gray hair black, and you can kind of see it in the live action version. The one thing missing from this outfit, the comic one, was the red glasses he wore in the original look and the outfit that followed. For most of his outfits, he wears sunglasses, and for most of the time, they are red sunglasses. This costume, along with the aliens, were actually designed and worked on by Joy Cretton in the family. Wonder Man had a super wild comic book history if you don't know it. He debuted in Avengers issue number 9 in 1964 as Simon Williams, heir to the Williams Innovations, which failed against Stark Industries. After being encouraged by his brother to embezzle money from the company, he ended up in jail. He later blamed Tony Stark and teamed up with Baron Zemo, who gave him ionic powers to fight the Avengers. Simon eventually betrayed the Masters of Evil, sacrificing himself, and his consciousness was later used by Ultron to help create the Vision. He returned and became a full-time Avenger eventually, and experienced multiple deaths and multiple resurrections. Outside of being a superhero, he had his own comic focused on his Hollywood career as a stuntman and movie star, which inflated his ego and made him less liked by those around him. He was kind of a dick, kind of like how they say in this show. Fans love Wonder Man because despite his many mistakes, he's always seeking redemption. He's really human deep down. However, as we know, the series strays a lot from the Wonder Man comic book origin, but it certainly keeps a lot of the same stakes.
Alright, so look bro, I need a huge favor from you. Valentine's Day is around the corner, and you know I already told you how my wife is your biggest fan, and so listen, I wrote a song for her, but honestly, I can't do it as much justice as you can, and so can you please record it and perform it exactly how I'm going to sing it inside this voice note. And so I'm gonna shoot it over to you. Can you shoot it back so I can give it to her before Valentine's Day? Can you do that for me? You see, that's why you the GOAT. All right, I appreciate you, bro.
Yeah. Yeah. Met you in 2018. Didn't know then you'll be everything highs lows. You never switch sides, oh, we caught every tear. You cried on me, September night. Yeah, I remember that day. Promise on my heart, yeah, I put your name. All year and a half in this wedding ring. Still get nervous when you smile at me. Please see me broken, you see me blessed. Still chose me when I wasn't at my best. If love is a risk, I take it again every time. Yeah. every time, so be my Valentine. For the night and every day, for the rest of my life. If love is real, then baby I'm cruel, cause I hope I'm loved by you. You're my favorite person for a baby girl. This love that we feel is pain, I'm the luckiest man alive. This true, baby be my Valentine. Will you? First to open up your heart, babe, I wanna listen to your thoughts, your dreams. Every intuition now make you feel love. Like you seem on your coaster, and every single scene you become in the snow. I say please, still fall for you when I see your face. If I'm ever feeling it, it feel like this. Yeah, it feel like this. Praise the world gets loud, I'll be your peace. If you ever go, just look at me, I chose, but then I choose you. Now I made it clear when we walk down and out on the ball, so be my Valentine. Yeah, for the night and every day, for the rest of my life. Hand in mind to the end of time. You already got my love, no lie. Yeah, since 18, you be my lifeline. Said to midnight, I got to make you white. I'm the luckiest man alive. It's true, baby, put my Valentine. Yeah, be my Valentine. Yeah, put my Valentine. Yeah, oh. Yeah, met you in 2018. Didn't know then it'd be everything I suppose you never switch sides. I caught every tear when you cried on me. September night, yeah, I remember that day. Promise on my, yeah, I put your need. I was here in the afternoon, sweating me. Still getting nervous when you smile at me. Repeat me broken, you see me blessed. Still trust me when I was in at my best. Love is a risk I take it again. Every time, yeah. Every time, so be my Valentine, yeah. For the night and every day, for the rest of my life. If love is real, then baby I'm proof, cause I woke up loved by noon. My baby present all the day, made me go. This love that we feel is fate, all the luckiest man alive. Pursued, baby be my Valentine. For you, first to be up your babe. I wanna listen to your thoughts, your dreams. Every intuition now make you feel love. When you see how it goes far, in every single scene of the come to my time. I say pace, still fall for you when I see your face. If you're red I'm feeling it, it feel like this. Yeah, it feel like this. Breathe, the world gets tired, I'll be your peace. If you ever down, just look at me, I chose you, then I choose you. Now I made it kill, but we walked down and out. Final part, so be my Valentine, yeah.
You see this Wonder Man debut the ionic energy. This is his ionic blast that he can shoot from his hands, which kind of lock them in. Then he says this quote, which Simon will repeat later during the audition.
The Umbrella people believe if a soul fails to turn right after death, it winds up in a dark and treacherous place. Well, I've been to the void.
Well, I've been to the void.
We saw this again in a later Marvel promo for Wonder Man, a script with his lines visibly scratched in. In that promo, he crosses out hell and replaces it with the void for his audition. Since the vintage 80s Wonder Man also says the void in his version, and Simon is clearly passionate about both the character and the original film, it seems like he's just reverting the line back to what it was before the studio rewrites. Now, as I mentioned earlier, I don't think the show is designed to set up anything super huge for the MCU's future, but what the original Wonder Man is describing sounds a lot like the void, the TVA dumping ground we revisited in Deadpool and Wolverine. At the same time, it also closely resembles the void connected to Sentry that we saw in Thunderbolts. Both are dark places no one would want to end up, but Sentry's void is more psychologically driven, tied to mental illness and depression and anxiety, things that strongly connect to Simon Williams' story. In Wonder Man comic lore though, the character did die, and when he did die, he mentioned being in a void of emptiness, which could also be a reference to his comic character's death. We're then with the adult Simon Williams in present day with a new script, a script for American Horror Story. Since Disney acquired 21st Century Fox in 2019, and now owns FX and can air a wide range of shows. In Zootopia 2, they really made a point of highlighting that they can feature literally anything. In this show, we'll see some American Horror Story, some Frozen, the director Lauren, who worked on Castle Rock, the Sons of Anarchy, a lot of new things for Disney. Simon Williams is played by Yahya Abdul-Mateen, who you probably remember from Watchmen or Aquaman. Our man is literally taking over every superhero property, and I'll take it. Outside of his trailer, as we venture through the backlot, we see the Rogers the Musical poster. We'll see a couple of these ads throughout the show. We're basically seeing Simon's day as just a regular day-playing actor on the CBS Radford studio lot. As Brad Winderbaum said, this is a love letter to Hollywood. It's really a triggering reminder to a lot of us struggling in Hollywood, but this reflection made me go, oh, so we're not all alone. On set, they complain about Mendocino Farms lunch, which I had for dinner last night, and lo and behold, hello, Ashley Greene from Twilight? Welcome? Oh my my gosh, she's in the MCU, my girl. Also, I like that Simon recommended the smoky chicken elote bowl without crema, but is it really an elote bowl without the crema? That feels kind of backwards. We watch Simon work and he's challenging the script, challenging the set deck, making suggestions, questioning many directions. And side note, I do love that the opening plays like one long take. There are a few hidden cuts, but the way that they're running a rehearsal, hitting marks and cues while actually performing in it all as the camera circles around the three of them, capturing both the conversation and the chaotic details of working on a soundstage, I'm obsessed with it. Then he's cut from the show, and inevitably, yes, if you're a problem like this, they'll just recast you, or in this case, take you off the show. They even say that this is a series wrap on Simon Williams.
That's a series wrap on Simon Williams.
Which, oof, no thanks. I also like the AD doing it. I'm sorry if I pronounced your name wrong. Is Bmvt. He's been in a bunch of things. He's also just a great UCB improviser. We'll see a lot of UCB alums in this show. Then Buck Owens and Buckaroos Act Naturally plays a country song about finding fame by putting your sadness on display, which, well, yeah, that's Hollywood. But all jokes aside, that's exactly what Simon will have to do this season, put himself out there even as he resists it. Then we get a montage of true LA living, the Hollywood sign, the Walk of Fame sign twirler, the longest casting call line, even the long robust traffic, and forcing your shitty car into a tiny parking spot in your apartment because your neighbor doesn't know how to park correctly. And instead of a big intro, we actually just get a yellow little Wonder Man. Simple, like our man wishes his life were. He lives in apartment number 9, a callback to his debut in the comics Avengers issue number 9 in 1964, and his girlfriend Vivian is moving out. His girlfriend is played by Ashley Tripley, who you might remember from Juno. In their room, there's a Dr. Strangelove poster. In the living room, he has a Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid poster. We'll see a lot of in-universe movies and real-world movie references in this show. We can see a bike also in his living room, which isn't really that important, but in episode 3, his mom mentions that he insisted on riding his dad's bike after his dad passed away, which could be this one. We start seeing his powers manifest here, but gradually they will get worse. We're then at the historic Highland Theater in Highland Park. They're playing Midnight Cowboy, a movie that follows Joe Buck, a naive but hopeful Texan who moves to New York City to make it big. Instead, he finds himself broke and meeting Ratso Rizzo, a con man, and the film becomes less about hustling and more about their fragile friendship and loneliness as they try to survive in an unforgiving city, which mirrors our duo's arc in this show. Simon runs into Trevor Slattery, played by Sir Ben Kingsley, who we haven't really seen since Shang-Chi. And as a reminder overall, Trevor Slattery first appeared in the MCU in Iron Man 3 as an actor hired by Killian to pose as the fake Mandarin and terrorize the public. Tony Stark ultimately put an end to Killian's operation, killing him in the process. We later see Trevor in Marvel's one-shot All Hail the King, where he was in prison alongside Justin Hammer. There, he was kidnapped by someone posing as a journalist who was actually secretly working for the real Ten Rings organization. Trevor next returned in Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, where he was being held by Wenwu but had become best friends with Morris, the faceless creature that looks like a butt. And according to his DODC file, he's a former companion, so we will not be seeing Morris. And I assume he stayed in Ta Lo with his little butt family. Serving largely as the comedic relief in Shang-Chi, he doesn't really help the group reach Ta Lo, but he survives the final battle and chooses to stay there afterwards. In this series, I presume we see his return from there back to LAX, which lands him handcuffed by the FBI. He introduces himself like this.
I played the Mandarin, but that was over bloody 10 years ago, and I was just a puppet. And whatever theories you've seen on Reddit are totally false. I had nothing to do with Pizzagate. I'm not a member of the Illuminati, and I did not have my hands replaced with baby hands.
And I love that they bring in the subreddit theories. Pizzagate, which we all remember, unless for some reason he's referring to the Shane Dawson one, the one about Chuck E. Cheese recycling their pizza. And he's also not a member of the Illuminati, which he definitely is referring to the real-life conspiracy group, not the secret team we saw in Multiverse of Madness. Unless there is a Redditor out there who knows of the super secret group Wanda murdered. Simon remembers him as the Mandarin, because who doesn't? But he actually loves him from Omnibus in the 70s, where he played Edgar Allan Poe in The Need for Nightmare. The role was portrayed in the real world by Ben Kingsley. The funniest part of this whole story to me is that it is now canon in the MCU that Ben Kingsley doesn't exist, but Trevor Slattery has played all the roles that Kingsley played in our real world. He's basically the MCU's variant of Ben Kingsley. In episode 2, we even see Trevor's apartment, which is packed with a million callbacks to Ben Kingsley's real work. In the hallway, you can actually see the Zaniac movie poster. In the MCU, the Zaniac was a movie made by Brad Wolfe in Loki season 2. In the comics, Zaniac is a little bit different. It possessed the actor Brad Wolfe, who was actually playing a slasher villain known as the Zaniac. Then you see a poster for Mel Brooks' Young Frankenstein. Then you see Kumail's Kingo movie poster, because Kingo should be featured in this show a lot more than he is. Trevor and Simon continue talking about real world things. Trevor mentioned seeing Schlesinger's Timon of Athens, which he did in 1965 for the Royal Shakespeare Company. He also drops this kind of moment where he's like, too bad I was drunk as hell for it, which we'll come back to throughout the series, because as a reminder, earlier, Trevor had a really bad drug and alcohol addiction and other legal issues, which is why he took the role of the Mandarin for Killian in the first place in Iron Man 3. On their way out of the theater, on the window you can actually see they're also showing 1970's Tora Tora Tora, 1961's 20,000 Eyes, and of course 1969's Midnight Cowboy. He asked Trevor what he's auditioning for, and this is when he learns that the auditions are being held for Wonder Man. As Sir Douglas Quinton's She's About a Mover starts to play, Simon storms into his manager's office at the Hanover agency. We're seeing an interview with the reclusive filmmaker Von Kovac, who is out of retirement and signed to remake Wonder Man. He's played by Slatko Buric, who you might remember from Superman. He died in Superman and came over here. According to Marvel's promo,